Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Anaya Monet and you have tuned in to the Love Naya video channel. Let's go. If this is your first time here or you haven't seen my face, again, my name is Anaya Monet. I am a writer. I own a Christian blog, Love Naya, and I use that platform to help spread the gospel of Christ. I think one of the most important things to me right now is restoring people's faith in God. I think a lot of people have lost their hope and their faith in Him, and that's been my personal testimony, having my faith restored. So just helping other people to do that, right? But nonetheless, if you want to learn more about the brand, more about the blog, you can check out the description below, or you can simply head to my website, www.thelovenayablog.com. It's in the bottom screen here for you. But also, this channel is almost at 100 subscribers. So if today's topics intrigue you, or if any of my videos that you've probably explored or run into intrigue you, definitely support the channel. We are maybe like 20 people or 20 subscribers away. So I'm so excited to hit our first 100 subscribers. So thank you to those that have subscribed, and thank you in advance for those who will subscribe. But let's go ahead and get into today. I don't want to be here for too long. I always say that, and then these videos be like 30 minutes, right? But no, seriously. What I do want to share with you is just kind of like my thoughts after taking my break away from online. So for those that don't know, back in February, at the end of February, I completed a blog series on my Wednesday love letters. I don't have to go into details here. There is an entire video, an entire playlist of what that series is. But essentially it was a 3-month-long series where I was uploading Wednesday love letters, and it delved into a plethora of topics that were very raw and very vulnerable for me, right? So for 3 months, I was posting content almost every single day. It was editing, it was cutting, it was writing, it was promoting and doing all of these things, right? And so at the end of the series, I kind of like came up with this question of like, okay, what do I do now? You know, the series was so transformative for the brand and for the blog. I was like, what do I go back to now, you know? And it was also a transitional period for the website as well, and for members. I was doing some changes with policies and like membership and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, this is probably a good moment for me to take a pause, because there's a lot of things that I want to figure out. We're coming to the close of things, we're starting things, and I feel very overwhelmed. And I'm pretty sure that if I step away from everything, I'll have more clarity when I come back. So and I felt like it was a nudge for the Lord too. Like, yeah, go ahead and take a pause, because you've been going in for the last 3 months. So that's what's been happening for this past month. And let me tell you, I enjoyed it. I really did. It took like a few days for me to enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, but for the most part, looking back on it, I really did enjoy just seeing and exploring how I fulfilled my time without this pressure of like what to do next, and like what do I post, and you know, all those sorts of things. And then just a few other things to talk about that we'll be releasing this month. Okay, so let me tell you, we'll get into the first topic, which is how my first few days went taking a break from everything. I got really anxious. I really did. I was like, there was this first episode that I had where I was just kind of in bed, and I don't know, I started asking these questions that I was like pondering my purpose in life, and I was asking the Lord like, what's going on? Not really aware that I'm ceasing from like being online and like posting online. So I'm like totally oblivious to the fact, right? Not even catching on. And what happened was, although I had that first episode, that would come back like every few days. So this is what I found out. I'm the type of person where I will like open up the voice recording app and kind of record my thoughts there. especially if I'm trying to like brainstorm something or create like a project. But a neat thing about the voice recording app is that they also allow you to see the script of your voice recording, right? So there was this one time where, maybe it was like the second or third time, where I finally looked at the script just for fun, because that's where I discovered it. I was like, oh, cool, they have like a transcript for your recording. And so for whatever reason, the volume was all the way down. So although the recording was playing, I could only see my transcript on there. And I was literally seeing my thoughts, and I was like, wow, these really look like anxious thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, I'm so anxious. And that definitely brought insight. And another thing that I thought about too is just, you know how we hear about our attachment styles, you know, within our relationships. And oftentimes I'm thinking about our relationship with social media, or our relationship with our brand or platform, or whatever the case may be. And I was like, man, do I have like this anxious attachment style to my social media, that if I'm not on there, or if I'm not posting, then all of a sudden I just have these anxious episodes, you know? So I'm glad I was able to pull out of that and just see what was going on, like the bigger picture of everything. And I was like, oh, and it really didn't hit me until today when I was preparing to make this video, that you were literally like going through a withdrawal, you know? So, but like then it wasn't funny, but now thinking back on it, I was like, man, isn't it crazy that you kind of like question your entire life, and you're questioning your entire purpose because you were online. Have you guys felt that way? Maybe if you've detoxed, or maybe you've taken a break, how those first few days went for you, you know? There wasn't like a tendency to get online. It wasn't that. It was, I was looking forward to it, and it was easy for me to, you know, take that break. But I think that just lets you know how important breaks are, you know, that you don't always have to kind of train your mind, or to train your body to I would say train your mind to be posting all the time and be sharing all the time. Sometimes it's just very important for you to step away and have the strength to delete some apps, and, you know, to make the announcement if it's necessary, especially if you have a business, like, hey, just letting you guys know I'm taking a break, whatever the case may be. But there's the first thing. My second thing that I really enjoyed throughout my break is cooking. I really enjoy cooking. And the specific reason is because recently I started training to become a vegetarian for the last couple of months now. Look, I'm a vegetarian. No, that's why I like to say training, because I still have my moments, especially when I go home and my mom is cooking. My mom is making fried chicken. I'm eating the fried chicken. Okay, no questions about it. She's like, "Nah, do you want to taste a piece?" Yes. What do you mean? You know, a goal that I had for this year is to not necessarily cook more, but try new things in the kitchen. So I was already cooking a lot, but it was just more so cooking the same things. And so now that I'm training myself to be a vegetarian, it definitely sent me online and looking for new recipes, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And oftentimes I visualize myself like cooking for the Lord too. I'm like, Lord, what would you like? What would be an aroma pleasing to the Lord? You know? So I really enjoyed that. And one thing I will say is, or I guess something that you can look forward to this month, is for me to share a blog post about that, to share with you some vegetarian recipes that I found online and that were pretty easy to make and affordable as well. Because here's what I found. A lot of times when you're asking people, or maybe the conversation just comes up where someone is talking about like they tried to go vegetarian, or maybe their struggles with it. A lot of times people do not know what to eat. Right? I think the main thing with the American diet is that we like to eat, but we aren't consuming a lot of nutrients within our body. So we're just eating food, but none of it is necessarily like beneficial for what our body needs. So that's one thing that I love about this type of eating, if you will, is that it forces you to make sure that you're getting your nutrients in, right? It's not just, you know, eating chips as a snack, or like, I don't know, eating rice and green beans for dinner. Like, I had fun, and I am definitely willing to share about it and vouch for it on my blog, so that way it gives people an idea on where they can start, and giving them a new perspective on their eating, like having fun in the kitchen. And then lastly, guys, I honestly just wanted to talk about my new single that's releasing on Friday. So I'll probably actually dropped this video on Sunday, but today is Tuesday. And so I have a new single coming out on Friday, and I'm smiling and so joyful because if you know me, like especially my family and my friends, they know how like important and like a big deal this is for me because I'm somebody that has been writing music and has been in love with music like since I can remember, right? And I'm talking about like writing songs and writing albums when I'm like 11, 12 years old. So it's something that I've always enjoyed. But I will say in past years, prior to this break that I took, it was like a 5-year break that I took just from like writing. I would say that the writing process frustrated me a lot. And it was frustrating to me because I wanted it to be a certain way. I wanted it to sound a certain way. And it was just kind of causing friction in my creativity and in my liberty of being an artist, right? Shout out to my sister. I just want to give you some insight and just a little bit of context behind the song, not too much. I think I want to make a separate video for that for sure. But I remember there was one night and I was essentially, expressing this to her and letting her know where I was coming from and that I wanted to get back into just connecting with writing again, but I just couldn't find it. And that was another frustrating thing for me because I know that this is something that I love to do. I know that writing music and producing is a passion that in a desire that the Lord has given me, but I couldn't I couldn't really express it in the way that I wanted to. And so what ended up happening, or I guess what I ended up realizing, is that I was trying to connect with my music in a way that I was no longer connected to, right? When I was 12 and when I was 15 and 16, I was a completely different person. And I think, but what was happening was I was trying to connect with my music like I was 16 again. And here we are, we're 27, so that put a lot of things into perspective. And so there was like this grieving process for how I used to connect with music, but it was also, it gave me space to explore what my connection with music was now. I've had more experiences, I'm more confident in myself, and I had a more, I guess, refined idea on what I want, like what my sound was and what I wanted to talk about, right? And not having this idea of what it should be, but just like, what do you feel? What do you want to talk about? And go from there. So this single that you guys are going to hear on Friday, it is a result of that. It's me exploring with different beats and different sounds and enjoying the rhythm. And then also realizing that like, hey, this is like a piece of work that I've put together that I had fun enjoying. And I showed it to my parents and my family and some of my friends, and they enjoy it too. And I'm like, hey, why not share this with the entire community? So I'm doing that, and I don't think it's going to be something that a lot of people expect that would come from me. So that's the fun part about it too. But I will say it's been positive reactions when like my family and friends hear, like they absolutely love it. So that's coming out this Friday, or I guess it's out now since you guys are seeing this on Sunday, but it's out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all the things. So definitely check it out. I'll be sure to, when it does release, I'll be sure to put the link below so that way you guys can check it out on your favorite streaming platform. Well, that's all, folks, that I have for you. I want to thank you for stopping by, for clicking on this video, for chatting with me. If you are not a subscriber, I would invite you to become one today. But if not, that's fine too. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you in the next video. Okay? Bye. The funny thing about this is that I always make tea to drink during my videos, but I don't ever drink it. I think in my last video, in the series epilogue, I was holding the cup the entire time like this, but I didn't drink from it, not once. I like tea though. I do. Y'all like the candle?